She's out of your league. This phrase has been echoing in my mind ever since I was 14 years old. At that young, impressionable age, I didn't question it. I simply absorbed it as if it were some universal truth. For years, I believed that society was neatly divided into leagues, and I wasn't part of the league that attractive people belonged to. Why? Because I wasn't tall enough, muscular enough, rich enough, or successful enough. I wasn't funny enough, confident enough, or alpha enough. In other words, I simply wasn't good enough, or so I thought. This belief became the lens through which I saw myself, and I carried it with me like an invisible weight. It quietly shaped how I behaved, especially around women I found attractive. That feeling of not being good enough created an underlying insecurity that made me overcompensate in ways that only pushed people further away. I'd buy girls drinks at bars, thinking it would impress them. I'd go out of my way to perform, acting like someone I thought they would want. I confess my feelings prematurely, hoping to force a connection. And when none of it worked, which it didn't, it just added fuel to the fire of my insecurity. I'd tell myself, see, you really aren't good enough. Have you ever felt like that? Like no matter what you did, it wasn't enough? Maybe you've looked in the mirror and thought about all the ways you fell short. Maybe you've been in a room full of people and felt like you didn't belong. If you're nodding your head, you're not alone. So many of us, men and women alike, have our own versions of this story. But here's the part that took me far too long to realize. It's not your fault. And even more importantly, it's not true. This idea of leagues, of being good enough, is just a lie. It's an illusion created by society and reinforced through countless messages we're exposed to every day. But here's the kicker. Just because something is widely believed doesn't make it true. Most people don't stop to question these things. They just go along with what everyone else is doing and thinking. They operate on autopilot, never critically examining where their beliefs come from. If you really think about it, most people are wrong about some of the most important aspects of life. Look at how the majority approach happiness, health, relationships, and even money. Most of them aren't particularly happy, aren't in good shape, aren't financially stable, and often find themselves stuck in unfulfilling or even toxic relationships. The majority mindset is one of complaining, blame shifting, and settling for mediocrity. So here's the question. Do you really want to think like the majority? Do you want to adopt their beliefs and live life on their terms? Or do you want to carve out your own path and live life in a way that feels authentic and fulfilling? If you're reading this, my guess is you want something different. You're questioning things, and that's the first step to breaking free of the herd mentality. But breaking free isn't easy. Society's messaging is everywhere, constantly reinforcing the idea that she's out of your league. It's in Tinder profiles, in Hollywood movies, in magazine covers, in Instagram posts, and even in casual conversations among friends. Sometimes, we even reinforce this idea ourselves without realizing it. For instance, when you rank women on a scale from 1 to 10, you're buying into the notion of leagues. Think about it. What are you really saying when you call a woman a 10? You're reducing her entire worth to her physical appearance, ignoring everything else about who she is as a person. You're also placing her on a pedestal, subconsciously deciding that she's better than other women and, by extension, better than you. How does that affect the way you interact with her? If you see her as a 10, does it change how you act? Do you feel nervous or like you need to prove yourself? Are you really connecting with her as a person? Or are you too busy trying to measure up to an imaginary standard? Here's something I wish I had understood years ago. The moment you put someone on a pedestal, you automatically place yourself below them. And when you see yourself as beneath someone, they're going to see you that way too. It's not about them being arrogant or dismissive. It's just human nature. You're creating a dynamic where they have no choice but to look down on you. Let me be clear. I'm not saying that physical beauty doesn't matter. Of course, some people are more physically attractive than others, and it's natural to feel drawn to beauty. But there's a difference between appreciating someone's beauty and worshiping it. When you worship beauty, you diminish your own worth. You forget that you, too, have value to offer. So, here's what I've learned. Stop bowing down to beauty. Stop giving away your power. Instead, meet people, beautiful women included, as equals. Look them in the eye and connect with their energy. Appreciate their beauty, but don't let it overshadow your own sense of self-worth. Your beliefs about yourself shape your reality. If you believe you're not good enough, that belief will guide your actions and your interactions, keeping you stuck in a cycle of self-doubt. But here's the good news. You don't have to keep believing that. You have the power to rewrite your story, to see yourself in a different light. You can choose to believe that you're enough, just as you are. So, what's it going to be? Are you going to keep carrying around the lie that you're not good enough? Or are you going to let it go and step into the confidence of knowing your worth? The choice is yours, and it's one that could change everything. You're not stuck with the way you currently see things. You're in control here. And if you could adopt a perspective that made you feel more confident, excited, and open to possibilities, why wouldn't you? Why choose the perspective that drags you down when there's an alternative that lifts you up? It's a choice, and you have the power to make it. Now, let me share with you a simple yet powerful technique that not only allows you to take control of how a woman feels about you, but also helps you eliminate the idea that anyone is out of your league. This technique shifts the dynamic, puts you in a position of power, and makes her chase your approval rather than the other way around. Here's the setup. Imagine you've just met a girl. You strike up a conversation, and 3 minutes in, things seem to be going well. She's smiling, laughing at your jokes, asking you questions, and appearing genuinely interested. At this point, most guys think, this is going great. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, and it'll work out. But then, something changes. A few minutes later, she seems to lose interest. She either excuses herself and walks away or gives you her number, only to ghost you when you text her later. Sometimes, the interaction goes even longer. Maybe you have a great conversation that lasts an hour or more, and you're sure you've made a real connection. But then, you hear those dreaded words, I think we'd be better as friends. Sound familiar? Here's the good news. There's a solution. It's a concept so simple that, once you understand it, you'll start to see immediate changes in your interactions. It comes down to this. Give her your approval, then take it away at key moments. This technique works best in the early stages of getting to know someone, before the relationship gets too comfortable or familiar. This is the initial attraction phase, the point where most guys unintentionally sabotage themselves by being too nice, too agreeable, or just plain too predictable. Here's the thing, women, especially very attractive women, are used to getting attention and approval from men without doing anything to earn it. Compliments, free drinks, over-the-top gestures, it all comes too easily. And when something comes too easily, it's human nature to take it for granted. But if you're a man who doesn't give your attention and approval so freely, you stand out. You become someone she has to work for, someone whose attention feels earned. And when she feels like she's earned your attention, she values it and values you far more than the guy who lays it all out on the table from the beginning. The way you do this is by using the push-pull dynamic in your conversations. In simple terms, you give her a little taste of your approval or attention, and then you pull it back, just enough to make her curious and invested. When done correctly, this creates a subtle tension that draws her in and makes her want more. For example, imagine you're in a light-hearted conversation. At one point, you smile and say something like, "You're actually pretty cool, maybe even cooler than I thought at first." This is the push. It gives her a hit of approval, a positive affirmation that feels good. But then, you follow it up with a playful pull, like, "But don't let it go to your head. I can't stand cocky people." By pulling back slightly, you keep her on her toes. You create a moment of doubt, a moment where she wonders what you really think about her. And it's that moment of uncertainty that keeps her intrigued and engaged. The key is timing. The push-pull dynamic is most effective when she's already showing interest in you, when she's laughing at your jokes, asking you questions, or giving you positive signals. By selectively withdrawing your attention or approval at the right moments, you trigger her natural desire to chase after what she feels she might lose. This taps into a psychological principle called the law of effort justification. The more effort someone invests in something, the more they value it. By making her work for your attention, you increase her emotional investment in you. And the more invested she is, the more she'll want to be around you. Now, here's where most guys mess up. They're either too afraid to pull back because they fear losing her interest, or they try it but don't fully commit, so it doesn't have the desired effect. This hesitation usually comes from a mindset of scarcity, the fear that if they lose this one girl's attention, they'll never have another chance. But scarcity is an illusion. The truth is, there are millions of amazing women out there, far more than you could ever have time to meet. Fearing the loss of one girl's attention is like a millionaire panicking over losing a single dollar. Guys with options don't operate from a place of fear. They understand that attraction isn't about clinging to someone. It's about creating a dynamic where they're drawn to you. Women, especially attractive ones, enjoy the thrill of a challenge. They're not looking for a guy who hands over all his cards in the first few minutes. They're looking for a guy who knows his value. Someone who isn't afraid to tease, to create tension, to pull away just enough to keep things exciting. So here's the big takeaway. Stop trying so hard to impress. Instead, focus on creating the chase. Show her you're interested, but not too interested. Let her feel your approval, but don't give it away too easily. Pull back at the right moments and watch how she leans in. When you embrace this dynamic, you'll notice something remarkable. Women will start to see you differently. They'll see you as a man who knows his worth, who doesn't need to seek validation, and who's in control of his own narrative. And in doing so, you'll also free yourself from the outdated belief that anyone is out of your league. Because the truth is, there is no league. There's only the energy you bring to the interaction. And when that energy is confident, playful, and abundant, the game changes entirely. This is a fun and lighthearted approach that adds a playful twist to your interactions with women. These examples highlight the key principle of balancing charm with a bit of teasing. Here are some ways to use these playful lines effectively. Examples of playful takeaways. Disagreeing playfully. If she says something you disagree with, respond with a smile. Oh, you're losing me. Age banter. When she mentions her age, you're way too young/old for me. This is never going to work out. Flirting. If she flirts with you, oh, you don't want to flirt with me. Trust me, I'd be so bad for you. Mock seriousness. If she calls you a jerk, you know, there are some really nice guys over there. Maybe you should go talk to them. Bratty behavior. If she's acting bratty, that's it. I'm breaking up with you. Keep the beach house. I'm taking the dog. These types of responses are designed to keep the energy light and fun while subtly challenging her to engage with you on a deeper level. They show confidence and the ability to not take yourself or the interaction too seriously. More playful lines for different situations. Playfully teasing her behavior. You're trouble, aren't you? Get out of here. Trouble. I can't be seen talking to you. You must have driven your parents crazy. Isn't it a school night? Do your parents know where you are? Pretend drama. That's it. I'm divorcing you. You can keep the beach house, but I'm taking the dog. I think I'm too high maintenance for you. Mock judgment. I said I wouldn't date bad girls anymore. Get out of here. Your parents would never approve of this. Lighthearted takeaways. That's it. You lost me. I'm not talking to you for 2 minutes. Where's your off button? You're making this way too easy for me. You're dead to me, but it's okay. I'll resurrect you if you make me laugh. Playfully feigning disinterest. I'm emotionally unavailable. It's not you, it's me. I can already tell we'd never get along. I can't talk to you. We're just gonna fight all the time. And I'll win. Playful challenges. Let's play a game. Let's see how long you can hold your breath. You're taking this way too seriously. You're back to square one with me. Missy. The key is to deliver these lines with a light tone, a smirk, or playful body language. You're not being mean or condescending. You're simply setting the stage for a fun and engaging dynamic. These types of lines create a playful tension in the interaction. They communicate that you're confident, that you don't put her on a pedestal, and that you're willing to challenge her in a fun way. When done right, it sets you apart from other guys who might be too serious or overly accommodating. Women enjoy the company of someone who can make them laugh, tease them in a friendly way, and keep the conversation unpredictable. It shows that you're comfortable with yourself and not trying to seek her approval. At the end of the day, the lovable road dynamic is about being confident, charismatic, and fun without trying too hard to impress. When you can make her laugh and feel a mix of emotions, curiosity, intrigue, and playfulness, she'll naturally want to spend more time with you. If you're curious about taking this further, there's an online course linked in the video description that breaks down the psychology behind what women are really attracted to. It covers the deeper traits women value in a man, beyond surface-level things like looks, height, or wealth, and helps you create genuine connections that work on a deeper emotional level. Let me know if you try any of these lines or techniques and how they work for you. Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. And remember, this is about having fun, staying confident, and being the best version of yourself. You got this.